All right. Well, this is very impromptu, so I've got to thank you a lot, Wyn Masters, for joining me. We're just having a bit of dinner as well, so there might be a bit of background chewing.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks for having me on, Jimmy. I was just riding past, really, so pulled in for dinner and a quick chat.
Oh, no, I'm stoked to have you on. You're actually one of my favourite podcasters as well.
Oh, really?
Because you ran your podcast for, about 7 episodes or something?
Oh, we got to 14.
You got to 14, yeah. I remember there wasn't too many, but...
It was a COVID thing, so... Yeah, we need to get it going again, but...
It is hard work, though.
It's hard to keep it rolling and keep on top of it with the travel, with everything else, and being a fresh dad as well, so... Yeah. A little bit busier than I normally would be.
So we're in Queenstown. You said you just come with your 1-year-old now.
Yeah.
And your wife.
Yeah, turned 1 last weekend, so yeah, birthday party last weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
In Queenstown, or did you go up and see the family for that?
In Queenstown, so yeah.
Yeah.
It was not quite a 21st, but it was a first. Yeah.
What's the travel over here? Was it to see family and for them to meet the young one? And
pretty much, yeah, see the family and then come down here in Queenstown, hang out for a bit, but didn't ride as much as I would have liked to, but that's dad life, so yeah.
Yeah, was the aim to try and to make it a training trip, or was it more of a family?
Well, a bit of both.
Orientated.
But try and mix it in, but it's pretty hard to keep a good balance on that.
Yeah. No, good shit. How's it? Is this the first time you've been back to Queenstown since like 2020, like COVID time, or have you managed to?
I was here for a week in 22.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I haven't been in New Zealand at all since then.
Yeah.
Pretty much, so it's been flat out.
But yeah, we were just talking before this. You kind of are all over the place with travel and living and whatever.
Yeah, so been living in Austria the past year, and before that 2 years in the UK. So
yeah,
and then just traveling to whatever World Cup races and so on that I need to go to during the season. So
yeah,
it's pretty busy.
So what's that? Is that because of the wife's work? That
my wife's job's in the UK, so they keep us there.
Yeah. So and then is that why you're in Austria too?
Yeah, we went to Austria because the baby arrived. So baby Vincent arrived in February. So stayed in Austria for pretty much a year.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't leave by choice. It's a pretty good place to live.
Yeah, it's pretty. I've only been there 2 years ago. Was my first time, and it's pretty stunning. Yeah, just around the Innsbruck area we were.
Very, very similar to Queenstown, like.
Yeah.
Similar kind of landscape, lakes, mountains, and maybe even feels a little bit cleaner.
Yeah. Yeah, it's stunning, real blue water again.
Yeah.
But we got it pretty good here in Queenstown.
Yeah. It's one of the few places in New Zealand that feels similar.
Yeah. But while you're here as well, you've already been over to Hardline.
Yeah.
What was that, like 3 weeks ago? Or
maybe a bit longer ago. Quite a while ago. Maybe in November sometime.
How was the track when you got there?
It was real, it was really in the midst of the beginning of the track build.
Yeah. So
when I first went.
Flagged out and...
Yeah, and they'd put some dirt piles where there were going to be jumps, but it wasn't too far into it. But you had a vague idea of what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
And then since they've had to do quite a lot of rebuild since they've done some testing.
It must be pretty tough to come in where they are, because with the Welsh site, they've obviously had the years of developing it and growing it to kind of the beast it is now, and this one's just like straight off, blank canvas essentially. Yeah,
pretty much. And I think even in Wales, they've had like trial and error to get it to where they are now.
Yeah,
and that doesn't really just happen overnight.
No.
So you kind of have to build. Oh, that's not right, and then change it, and it slowly takes shape. But they're trying to do it in a shorter time frame, so that's
it must be pretty scary for the builders as well as the riders to sort of have to go and like test it. I guess the guys were there last week, Bernie and all the rest of them. Unfortunately,
Darcy, the main builder they had there, he was going to test it all. He wanted to build it and test it.
Yeah.
Darcy Coots, and he's the main trail builder for Dirt Art, which is the company that owns Made in a Bike Park.
Oh yeah.
So that's like connected to a trail building company.
Yeah. Did he used to race downhill as well?
Yeah, he's raced World Cups and everything. So he was keen to build it all and then test it first. But then he broke his collarbone at like a national race in Tassie.
Yeah.
So then he didn't even get to test any of it. And then Bernie and Dave had to go and try and test it. So yeah.
So, and then it's, what were we, 2 weeks off that?
Yeah,
The event?
Yeah, pretty much 2 weeks away, yeah.
Yeah, so you're heading over to go and watch that.
Yeah, gonna go and do some video for Red Bull. I'm doing like daily videos with Red Bull. Just I think they have a contract with BF Goodrich, so they have to produce a certain amount of content from the event. So
yeah, the tyre company is.
Yeah. So I'm kind of filling in that portion of things, I think. So that'll be interesting, and it's kind of first time at Hardline and behind the scenes. It should be cool.
Yeah.
And Jack Moyer's going as well. So
as a bit of a co-host.
So we should have.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not working on my videos, so he's working on his own, but we
Yeah.
should have a pretty good time on the track side. So
You'll be pretty comfortable in front of the camera now with Wyn TV. It's been going for man. When did you start that? Was it with Dirt originally, or was it even
before that? Yeah, the first videos I did were in 2009.
Yeah.
And then M2B Cut, which is Cut Media now. I did quite a lot of stuff with them in 2010, and then I think it was all Dirt from then on, and then rolled into Pink Bike, and then just on the GT YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And this last year was the first year that it was on my YouTube channel, so it's kind of taken shape over a long time.
Yeah. How were the early days? I feel like when I used to watch it, especially Rachel Atherton seemed to be a bit like standoffish.
She didn't like me. Yeah. No. she couldn't work out whether I was trying to make a joke of her or not.
Yeah.
So she never wanted to give me much of time of day.
I remember, was there many other riders? I remember her quite vividly sort of being pretty
her and G were the main ones.
Yeah.
And now they're like sweet, so it's like kind of funny.
Yeah. And then where was I going with that? I don't know actually. But yeah, so then that's like
they were pretty raw in those early days.
Yeah.
Watch some of them now, like because there's one that I think in 2012 we were just filming like with a handy cam.
Yeah.
No microphone, nothing, and there's some on Vimeo.
Yeah.
And they're real funny. It's so raw, and you wouldn't get away with half of the stuff we're saying in the video now.
Because you were sort of like, were you on more of a privateer ride then as well?
Yeah, in 2012 I was injured as well, so
yeah,
I had a broken scaphoid that was taking ages to heal.
Yeah.
So they'd take me to the races, but I couldn't really race, so I was just making videos.
Yeah. And were you sort of in a different? Were you a bit looser back then? I guess.
Yeah, it was like
now.
Yeah, everyone probably was, and we probably even were even more.
Yeah. I think like the Kiwi, a very sort of dry humour a bit as well.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, it's quite hard to sometimes like understand if somebody's taking the piss out of you or laughing along with you. I guess it just from like.
Yeah, like a European doesn't understand our humour.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, maybe because English second language.
Yeah.
It's really hard to judge if we're just
sarcasm.
We're just making a joke of them or ourselves. and they can't work it out.
Normally the latter, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're like, what are we on about? Yeah. And then they'd just be looking at you like, are you crazy?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, am I meant to be offended right now, or are we meant to be laughing together?
But yeah, pretty funny.
But that's kind of, I guess, introduced you to the more camera side of things, I guess, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. I just bought a Handycam and a MacBook in 2009.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm just going to start making my own videos.
Yeah.
And from then on, that was the start.
And then, so this gig you got with Red Bull for the Hardline, is this the first time you've been in this sort of position, or have you had other roles?
No, I've worked all of the Sierra Bajo, which is the urban downhill series for Red Bull last year, because I live in Salzburg, so from my house to the Red Bull studio is like 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And all of those events were broadcast from the studio. So we'd be in the studio as the hosts. Like, it would be Rob, Elliot, and myself, or Claudio.
Yeah.
And I'd just do, like, the post-show stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, and are you recording it live with video feed? Yeah.
Yeah, so we're live in Chile or Colombia or Mexico, and we're in a studio.
Oh, right, yeah, so you're on site.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise that you were at those events too.
Yeah, so I did 3 of those last year, and I was just doing like post-race analysis.
Have you competed in any of those street races?
Yeah, I've done the Cerro Bajo Valparaiso, which is like the most famous one in Chile.
What would you reckon if they ever brought one of those into the downhill?
I reckon it'd be sick. I reckon they should, but heaps of riders hate it.
I can understand, yeah.
Because well, they think it's dangerous, but World Cup racing is dangerous.
Yeah.
So, like, you're still racing as you would be normally, but, like, the obstacles are different.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of similar once you get your head around it, I think.
Yeah, because the big one back in the day was the Lisbon downhill.
Yeah, that was
it?
massive.
That was huge. I used to think that was like part of the World Cup series because I didn't really understand.
Yeah, it was such a big thing.
When I was younger,
and you win a car, like Peter would win a car every year.
Yeah.
Drive away in a car, like that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
And in Valpo, it's live on national TV.
Mm.
So all the Chile's watching. Like when I went there and raced that race, I got invited on like national sports shows with football players and stuff like. Yeah. You never get that as a mountain biker in any World Cup event.
Yeah, and it's because we can't really put our sport in a stadium like Supercross, but we can put it in a
on a street
town. Yeah, street.
And then people will be on the side of the track. And I remember like that race was like 10 deep each side the whole way down. And they had put fences up because the fans used to reach over and touch the riders.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So now they put fences up each way, but the whole way down, it's like 10 deep, and then in the finish area is just massive.
Freaking it must be unreal.
It's insane, and they know the riders. Like for some reason, South America loves social media.
Yeah.
So they just follow all the riders, so they know who you are. I'm riding through the street 10 o'clock at night after going like this athlete media thing for Red Bull.
Yeah.
The night before the race, and then you're riding down like these sketchy streets, like a bunch of us just bombing back to the hotel, and they're yelling out your name.
Yeah.
You're like, these guys live in like these poverty houses,
and they're watching.
But they're watching mountain bikes, on social media.
That must have been for you probably one of the things that brought you to that wider mark as well. The wheelie.
Yeah. Just doing heaps of wheelies and the Wyn TV, like kind of a combination of things. So some of the wheelies would go pretty viral.
Yeah.
Like less so now, but more back then.
Yeah. But it's things like wheelies, whips, and even just big jumps without even doing a trick is what brought in that wide.
The average person can understand. So
you just, especially that wheelie as well. It's sort of that thing that you've always wanted to do as a kid.
Yeah,
and then it's a really easy thing for people to understand how hard that skill is, especially when you're doing it sort of the way you do, picking a beer up out of the Copthorne Hotel.
Wow, you got to pay for your stay somehow.
Yeah. So they hook you up, did they? For the week?
They gave me a discounted rate. Actually, Ed met Jackie, the lady that runs the marketing at the Queenstown Bowling Club of all places.
Oh yeah.
So that's where the contact came from, and then I sent her an email, and she got back to me pretty quickly and said we can sort out something. So
you wheelie through the foyer.
Yeah, did 2 different wheelie videos, and they were loving it. So
ideal.
I'm actually, I'm happy when they let me do something like that anyway.
Yeah.
So most hotels don't let you wheelie through the reception.
No. They seem pretty good there. I think they hosted like a lot of the Crankworks guys as well, so they're pretty
they've got
open to sort of get that in.
Laurie and Jackson at the moment too. So,
yeah,
they try and help out the mountain bikers because they said they have had All Blacks stay and they don't offer them any promotion and they're not very helpful. So she likes having the mountain bikers
because we're just all about like anything we can do to
help
sort
out,
of make a cheaper rate for ourselves.
Yeah.
So, do you reckon there could be like room? I want to talk about the World Cups a bit as well.
Yeah.
I guess last year had like quite a big change to the format, but also there's talk of like going to new venues and stuff. And with these big format changes, do you think there's room to sort of? We obviously said that a street race you think would be quite cool, but other not extreme as like the snow biking because that sounds a bit nuts, but like having a course which is pretty basic, I guess.
In the World Cup series?
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to see just an urban race, but they'll never do that.
So technical.
But then how can they never do that? But they're happy to do a snow bike world championships, and it's for a rainbow jersey from day one.
Yeah.
Like from a few months ago, they decided that's a thing.
Yeah, I mean,
just because they want to be part of the Winter Olympics. Because downhill doesn't have a space in the Summer Olympics. There's no space.
Yeah.
So the only reason they're doing this snow bike thing is to be part of the Winter Olympics.
But do you think... Well, I guess they're seeing it from a very different angle, but would you want downhill in the Summer Olympics if it could be?
No, I wouldn't.
No, I don't think I would either.
Because like what other sports have moved to the Summer Olympics, like BMX?
Yeah, we got like... I don't know.
And then 2 athletes from each country have like great help.
Yeah.
And the rest are like left to the wayside.
Yeah, that's my biggest reason. Is that when you look at like world champs, like world champs is a good race, and you obviously do get like the cream of the crop from each country, but you also get
Upcomer.
Not to knock the country so much, but say you got like freaking
you've got Peru or whatever. Yeah,
somewhere
they're there and they're loving it. They're so stoked to be there.
Yeah, it's good, but then for that to then the Olympics got to be the pinnacle of the
and you might lose those guys. Maybe they're there, but I don't know. The Jamaican bobsled team.
Yeah, they come through out of nowhere. You could have a mudder, and those first qualifiers could do well, but I think
maybe they're going to do the snow bike instead.
Yeah, but I think that's with the snow bike. I'm not sure. I think it's stupid. Not so much the sport itself. It's a bit weird, but like. Obviously, you look at all these ski resorts around the world opening up to bikes because the snow's getting shitter and shitter.
And now we're going to the snow.
So now why put a bike on the snow and the snow's getting shit? That's what seems like weird to me, not so much.
That's because they're like, the only Olympics we can get in is the winter, so we'll make a discipline.
Yeah.
And we'll give away a rainbow jersey pretty much for free. And I think it's double UCI points as well. So you can get points. You can go to that race. Even if you suck at riding downhill on a real track, you can go to that race and get points.
The field is about 45 deep, I think. I was looking at the
so
results
you probably
this morning.
might even get points from 40th place to be able to race a World Cup.
Man, I should have got over there. But
the easiest points going, I think.
Yeah, I should have got over there. There was like a 60-year-old bloke, I think, racing it.
I think he was in the top 30 too.
Yeah, it was top 30 or something. There might have been an older guy in like 45th. I was looking at the results this morning, and then I guess it'll be today is the dual slalom. Do you know if that's like head to head or they're going to be on separate tracks, or do you not know too much about it?
I don't know too much about it, but in skiing it's not head to head. So I think all of these disciplines are just copy of the ski racing.
Just
because in Austria skiing's like national sport.
Yeah,
and I've been to some World Cups.
Yeah,
so like I went and watched 2 now. And it's pretty insane.
It's unreal. I used to watch Ski Sunday back in the UK, and the speed and how close those times are.
Yeah, and
like pretty.
In Austria, everyone watches every Sunday. Like it's culture.
But to try and replicate that on a bike, do you think it's like?
Yeah, it's never going to be the same.
It's
we've got crappy things on our tires. It looks like they're slow in the snow. Even pedaling out the start gate, they look shit.
Imagine, how people have those skis that are rollerblades for the summer? You seen those?
People
trying to imagine
everywhere in Europe.
Yeah, imagine if somebody started if they did the opposite and said, "Well, we're running out of snow, so we better start racing downhill on these hectic skis." We'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
But I don't know. Well, with the way climate change is going, I think it was in Austria today. It was 14 degrees.
Yeah,
and then this morning here was 4 degrees.
Yeah, it was freezing.
So it was colder in Queenstown in summer.
Peak summer.
Than Austria in midwinter.
So
it's a bit backwards.
Yeah, and there was that in Salzburg.
Which is our house is right at the bottom of a big mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are they making snow up there? Do you know? Have they got a pretty good dump already, and it's just?
They make snow now quite a lot.
Yeah.
But there's some resorts that have stopped making it because it's too much. So it depends how high the resort is. But when they get a real good dump at the start of the year, and then it's not been very good since.
Yeah.
Insane dump in December, and then since then, hardly anything.
Yeah. It's kind of it works out good for us, because if it does mean that the
mountain bike trails everywhere.
Mountain bike trails starting to kick off, it's been quite good.
Yeah, Austria now pushes more and more for bike.
Yeah.
And they never did before. They're very conservative and old school. It's we like hiking, not biking.
Yeah.
And they don't let you ride hiking trails, and it's pretty backwards, but it's starting to really open up because they realise they have to.
Yeah. As long as if they're investing in new tracks, then that's it's kind of a benefit as well, because mixing walkers with bikers isn't the most ideal scenario, and the hiking tracks are pretty damn good though, to be fair, to ride. But
yeah. From my house, I live right by the German border, so Bavarian Alps.
Yeah.
And all the trails on the German side are open to bikes now.
Oh yeah.
So
and I can just you give way to walkers. So?
Yeah, whoever's going up has right of way, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that seems alright.
That's the rule, I think. Anyway, but
did you e-bike a lot around where you are? There's lots of ski lifts.
I just e-bike.
E-bike everywhere.
Yeah.
So going back to the World Cups, like, so last year had probably the biggest change forever, really, to the format.
Yeah. Bringing in the semi-final and all of that.
Yeah. What was your initial thoughts to that, and then like how do you feel like it panned out through the year?
Well, I didn't like it to start with.
Yeah.
Because it's an extra race run, and it kind of dilutes that final run intensity that is downhill racing.
Yeah.
But yeah, after the year, I didn't really change my opinion.
It's just become the norm a bit.
Yeah, it's like the norm, but it sucks to watch, like, because it's pretty hard to qualify for the final, so you end up watching a few races. And it's just not as exciting.
Yeah.
And I was injured for a few races, so I watched quite a few,
I guess.
And then I see it from that side.
Yeah. So my opinion kind of changed. I was, the first round, I couldn't watch it live, so I was following it throughout the day, and it was pretty good. Because all day I was getting updates of what's happening, and you... Because what... Nah. I guess... No, qualifying was the day before, so yeah, then you get the semi, and I think that was when Jordan won as well, so like you could kind of see them like gradually getting quicker and quicker. And it was from that way, it was quite fun to follow.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to trying to watch it, after that I tried to watch it online. I think it was like for the second round, and it like so it was just way too dragged out. Plus, when you do get to the final, you've got like that smaller condensed field, and it's just a bit. I did feel like it took away from.
Well, you kind of have an idea of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because like, it generally doesn't drastically change from the semi-final to the final.
No.
Like, if you're fast on that track, you're fast on that track in both runs.
Did anyone go like fastest all the way through at all? Like obviously people were stayed in that top three sort of area, but did anyone actually win all like qualifying semi-final?
I'm not sure, but maybe. I don't think Jackson won. He didn't win qualifying in Montsanan.
Yeah,
but he might have won the semi-final and the final.
Yeah,
but that's all I can remember.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Montanan's producing pretty good 2 races over the last year with the Canadian winners.
Yeah, like I don't know, just delivers a good race, and so does Snowshoe, but they've taken that one away.
Oh, is that one gone now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a world marathon champs now.
What's the matter for the XC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are they gone from like having some great World Cups, like they've had some real memorable ones in the last few years, and then they've gone from that to marathon champs.
Do you think that the money at the resorts is pushing that decision as well?
Maybe, yeah. I heard that they wanted like $2 million to run one here in Queenstown.
Yeah.
And $2 million, what do you get?
So I've been going to Korea a bit as well, and that sounds like it might possibly be in the works.
Really?
But I think it was like, no, this isn't all going to Discovery, but they were saying like a budget of around about €4 million is needed to sort of establish the whole event. But I think from that, you look at, I think like $1 million was just the cost to Discovery. And then the other is all like infrastructure and all the rest of it.
They make you pay for the broadcast.
Yeah.
But is that not the broadcaster's thing? Like, to me, that seems a little bit backwards, you know? Like, that should be the broadcaster that's in charge, because they sold the rut.
Yeah, like what Red Bull was.
Mm-hmm.
But
when you work for Red Bull, then you really see that they don't operate to budget too much. Like, they do have a budget for each event, but the main focus is delivering the product.
Delivering like a good event at the end.
Yeah. And they're more focused on that than the budget. Like, they can always work around the budget.
Yeah.
Whereas these guys from what I've seen behind the scenes, they've got to work a lot more tighter to the budget.
Yeah.
And I think when they signed on to take on the whole thing, they maybe didn't realise at the costs that were involved to deliver a good product.
Yeah. I think in the first year as well, to try and be that precise to the budget probably is a bad decision as well, because when it's your first year, you don't know.
You can't really forecast a budget when you've never done it.
Yeah.
And then you've got to, if you're coming on after someone else has done it before, surely you have to deliver a better product. And maybe there has been some things they did improve, but not many.
No, it was very like micro adjustments. But again, I actually didn't watch any finals live because it was just too much.
Well, like nearly everyone I know
yeah.
who are like core fans of the sport don't watch it.
I've like, and that's me actually. I've watched for years. Well, with Red Bull, it was so easy.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, well, I just didn't. I don't know if the price is too bad for what you.
It wasn't like, bad the past year, but it might be more now. I don't know. They've changed the structure now.
Yeah, but especially for us being here to watch it live, you have to be up at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And to like
fair enough.
To pay whatever the fee is to then stay up to 2 a.m.
I wouldn't stay up at 2 a.m. to do it. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And again, then it's like to have to listen to. I feel sorry for the commentators, to be fair, because they were doing their best. But I feel like, did you watch any of it back yourself?
I just watched back like when I was in the semi-final, so I just watched back my run.
Yeah.
But I haven't really watched more than that.
Yeah. Because it was quite painful, I think, the first couple to listen
and
to
I watched
the
some just to listen to the commentary, just because I read the comments and then see if it is as bad. And then, it didn't really improve throughout the year.
How many people have come and told you that you should be the commentator?
Quite a few.
Yeah.
It's a hard job, though.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely wouldn't say... I wouldn't say no to the job, but it would be a big challenge.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they even considered Cedric, because they did a voice test thing with me.
Yeah.
Like, just to see, you just have to read some lines. But you're not, like, actually commentating on anything live.
Yeah.
So you're just... or can you act as if a race is happening?
Yeah.
But nothing's happening?
Yeah. So it would have been quite hard to, like, try and sound excited. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
It's like acting. Yeah.
Well, that's what it sounded like with Cedric.
Then how did Cedric pass that?
Yeah.
And no offense to him, but he can't speak English.
Yeah, it was a bit broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, because didn't he do the French Red Bull?
Yeah,
have, like, different things?
He worked for Red Bull in France, but then to take the job at Discovery, I think Red Bull wasn't stoked because it was like no notification.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just chase probably the cash.
Yeah.
Well, you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
I heard it can be good money if you're the main presenter, but then I felt like Josh Carlson was doing a better job, and you can see the passion in his voice.
Yeah, and I think that was the thing with Cedric. It's hard to, whether he is excited or not, it was hard to tell again because of the broken English. And his English is pretty, like, is really good.
Yeah, but not to commentate live sport.
Yeah. Like, I think, like, Claudio did, like, quite a good job again, being like, English is his second language. But still so a few times, like, you just were like...
Yeah, what's he saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then Cedric, like, to be fair to Claudio, Cedric was like that every race.
Yeah.
Whereas Claudio had the odd race where it's like that.
Yeah, it was quite rare for Claudio for you not to understand him.
And Rob really was a great anchor for Claudio, because Claudio could just feed off Rob, and Rob would have some information to fill in the airspace if he was stuck, you know. And
do you think that's what they're trying to do with Cedric? Is he was going to try and be the Rob Warner?
Yeah, a little bit, and be a bit the hype man, but there's not really hype. I don't think.
I feel like the mark was missed.
Yeah. But they should have known that from the first microphone test.
Yeah.
Like, that should have been the first thing. They were like, oh, no, we can't. Sorry, but we can't work with you.
Do you know if he's going back next year?
It seems like, because he's at the snowbike thing. So I'm like, they're using him already. So, like, he's most likely back again.
Yeah. Well, he was competing at the snowbike as well, wasn't he? I think
maybe. I don't know.
He was like 18th or 17th. Or something. I think he was in the teens.
Yeah. But I don't know. If he's doing stuff for the snowbike thing, then I'd say he'll be back again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, like, I don't like to sort of jump on like on the bandwagon too much, but I'm like, I almost want to just give him time, but he just seemed to be trying
too hard.
Yeah. Because he obviously does love the sport.
Yeah, of course.
So it was just weird to hear.
But he didn't know what to say. So, as someone's writing down, we don't need to know that they've got wide handlebars.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not 2008 when people had wide handlebars.
No, you just kind of want them to tell you
what's happening.
Exactly what you're seeing. Yeah.
Which is what Aaron did when Aaron jumped on. But, Aaron could read things and tell what was going on with bikes and riders and everything. So he filled in all the airspace, but then Cedric could jump in and say, look at the wide handlebars. And it kind of then takes away from everything.
Yeah. I can't remember a few comments because, again, I didn't watch too many in the end.
Yeah.
But I was sort of listening and I was like, what the fuck did he just say? About,
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do.
The most exciting race run is happening and he's talking about wide handlebars.
Yeah, or like somebody would go up at the split and you're like...
Yeah.
Tell us.
They'd miss that part.
Yeah, they wouldn't even say.
Where it goes green.
Yeah.
And then they're like, and he's actually in the spare time, he likes fishing.
You're like, okay. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of improvement, but we'll see if it happens.
So I was thinking, in addition to the Talkin Turkey podcast, is we could do like a Twitch feed. I'll get me and Krug and we'll do a Twitch feed as alternative commentary to...
They need some more alternative commentary for sure. I'd like to do it, but just be real busy at the race though.
Yeah.
Like to do your race, do alternative commentary, and then do Wyn TV.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty tiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've got do you still feel like you got a lot of years in your racing?
I'm not really stressed on the racing too much.
No. You feel like it's going to back down over the next few years, or?
Yeah, I'll still probably end up doing like other events after maybe this year.
Yeah.
But
you're still going to race World Cups next year? Or this year?
Yeah, this year, yeah. Last year I wanted to finish up, but then I was injured at the first race, so I missed most of the season. Come back pretty early, but I was not ready. But you need to come back to get racing to be good at racing.
Yeah.
So I had to come back like kind of early. Maybe I come back 7 or 8 weeks. And my hand was not really healed properly yet, but it was sweet after that.
So is this going to be the last orders
maybe.
this year, you reckon?
For the World Cups anyway, because I think from 25 it's going to be like only 20 elite teams and very limited riders.
Right.
Yeah.
And who's picking those?
15 or 20 elite teams, so it could be even less. So it depends on your points from this year if you make it into that.
So kind of going down like the F1 route there.
Yeah. That's from what I gather, that's ESO's plan for the sport, but to me that's completely wrong, and it's against what this sport is and being an accessible sport for anyone around the world.
Yeah.
But that's what they believe in, so yeah, let's see how it goes.
It's a shame that they've sort of got... If they had brought in a whole new series that wasn't sort of the UCI downhill and tried to bring this format, it wouldn't be such a big...
Yeah, it'd be fine.
Big issue, but to do that, to kind of take over and then to push everyone out that's been essentially made this sport what it is,
hopefully
which is the privateers.
Hopefully it builds the IXS Cup. They're trying to build that up already, so we'll see if it does.
Yeah.
And also maybe the Monster Energy series that's going to run in the US.
That, yeah.
I've heard they want to run like big prize money every race, so they have 15,000 for the win at US Open.
Yeah.
And I heard they want to have similar for every race, so that should get a lot of riders there, or like all the US based ones anyway.
Yeah. And how far will that trickle down? Do you know? To like 10th place.
At the moment it goes, maybe to the top 8.
Yeah.
In the World Cup, it only paid at 10 anyway, and it starts at 3.7 for the win.
Yeah, which is
so you're more than 5 times that.
Yeah.
Then it's laughable.
That somehow hasn't changed for years, has it?
No, it hasn't. No, since I started, it's been the same. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't. Do you think it's weird that we don't make more of a big deal of big prize money in mountain biking? Do you think that brings in sponsors as well when they see big cash sums?
Yeah, it would, because it looks
professional.
Better. Yeah. And you're like, they get that much money. Well, then suddenly it's legitimized,
Yeah.
Like golf is like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's like
look
millions
at that.
For like...
He just won 2.5 mil and everyone talks about it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this Monster Energy Cup, it's only 4 rounds at this stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that might grow, so if that goes well, I'll maybe go and do some of those, and do my videos there and do whatever other events I want to do,
Yeah.
Because doing World Cups for 15, 16 years, it's kind of much of the same every year.
Yeah. Could you see it going down the route of like kind of what we got with AMA and then like MXGP?
Yeah, maybe.
Because America's pretty damn good at making a
they like
series.
live sport,
yeah.
so that's their culture.
Mm.
So maybe downhill will get bigger in the US again, and then Norba used to be massive, so riders could be professional just to do Norba. Maybe that comes back around.
Yeah.
Would be cool. Already to have Monster Energy involved and have the guys that were behind the US Open, I know that they can run a good event. It's just if they can get enough coverage on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll try and do a similar thing with like showing the whole run? Or do you think that's even important? Like, look at Fort William, that's
there's
4-bit-minute track. You're never going to be able to...
Yeah, depends on the track, but like, that's what they were planning to do with ESO, but I think they realised it's hard to do, and I don't think everyone wants to watch only a 2.5-minute track every race.
Yeah.
And ride down half the track to get to the start. Doesn't make sense.
Was that Andorra, was it?
There was some, but they were like, even at Fort William, they talked about running half the track.
Yeah, I think the old start must have been like, I think 07 then extended it for World Champs that year.
Yeah.
Before that, it used to start a bit further down. Not super far, you'd still got to the top station, but it was like...
Yeah.
I think it was like, where you come off the last boardwalk?
Yeah.
I think it started somewhere around that sort of zone.
But I don't know if that's kind of a shame because you're taken away from what the tracks are, and we want long tracks, short tracks, everything, as riders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how's with them taking away the trying to reduce the field and take away the privateer thing, probably is, again, like, it's something that won't sit well with you because obviously your privateer project, something that you've really pushed over the last few years. And
well, and that's how I started.
How you started as well.
So, you want to see people be able to make their way in and make their way to being professional riders. Otherwise, there's not really a way to make it there.
Yeah.
And then you only target the kids that are great from young.
Yeah.
And there's been plenty of riders recently that have made their way into being podium riders or winning riders. So you kind of miss out on a few of those stories, which I feel like the longer it took them to make it to the top, the better the story is.
Yeah.
Like, of course, you're always going to have the freaks on a bike. Your Sam Hill, your Jackson Goldstone, like, they just make it straight there. But there's a whole bunch more that will take 5 or 10 years to make it there.
Well, I think even like yourself and Eddie is, for example, like how long did it take Eddie to win the EWS?
Yeah.
And when he did, it was
then it was a bit bigger moment.
And same, obviously, Matt Walker winning it last year as well. So come from the Vanzak sort of
to doing that
operation,
and then kind of Jack Moyes kind of done the similar thing as well. Benoit Coulange, it's taken him 9 or 10 years to win a World Cup.
I was probably my favourite win of last year was him because he deserved it so many times before that as well, and just kind of tripped at the last hurdle, and to see him.
Yeah, and he's just like a super humble guy that just goes about his business. Not really your superstar World Cup winner,
Yeah.
So he kind of upsets the apple cart a little bit on that side, so it's cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to see those sort of out... Well, again,
there's a few outliers. There was some Ocean as well. Ocean and Ronan both won too. Was pretty insane.
That was pretty unreal. I guess, again, to go like Irish, it probably never even got... Ben Reid was...
the last guy. So then,
years,
to win one and then...
To go first, second.
Yeah.
It was pretty
unreal.
epic.
And two friends, and they're just like having a good time doing it, like young guys. And Ronan's taken a while to get where he was. Like, Ocean came in from junior, but maybe if it was just top 30, he had number 42 or something in that race, so he might not have been racing.
Yeah, it is a shame to sort of be able to miss those, because it's so easy as well to have a mechanical or like lose 2 seconds. Like on a
and
track,
then you don't race.
Yeah.
And maybe you won't even get a chance to start in the qualifying because they're trying to reduce those numbers as well. I think they want to cut it about in half. Yeah. This is just rumours, but
those rumours normally seem pretty true.
They normally seem to be relatively true, so yeah.
Do you think it's coming down to that more rather than trying to find time? I feel like when you look at like the Sam Hill era, there was still a lot of time on the tracks, and he kind of showed us the way to do it, whereas now it's kind of like trying not to lose time.
Yeah, you've got to be perfect.
It's getting like the opposite effect. Like everyone
and having like your bike maybe as good as it can be, so that it doesn't lose any speed.
Yeah.
I I don't know how you do that, but
I can't remember who's...
Loic seems to do it pretty well, but his bike looks soft in video, but then it must have a lot of compression so that it can keep speed.
I can't remember whose podcast I was listening to with Vlog, but he was saying that he will set his bike up for what he thinks he's going to ride it at.
Yeah.
Which just seems pretty,
well,
crazy to have to think
I've been
like
doing a Shimano video the last few days with Camille.
Yeah.
And she said she just makes her bike real hard for the race run.
So she will change it from last practice to race run?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the race, then it's way harder.
Man, that would be like, imagine hitting the first corner and
so
be
you
like,
have to go
we've
hard,
made a mistake here.
You probably have to, and I've heard Loic say that sometimes that he went too hard.
Yeah.
And then he couldn't hold on to it.
Like, oh. That's such a gamble.
But it'd carry more speed, but you got to be able to hang on to it as well.
Yeah. You got to be like fully committed to...
Yeah. Aaron used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
But back in the day, so it was a few years back before the time that we have currently, and he would just make it hard for the race.
Man, it's hard to know, like, is that, like, actually helping, or is it just because they're coming in with that mindset that they've got to go hard? Because if they ran it...
And I can go harder.
Yeah. Would they still go as quick? But it's because they're coming in with that mindset of having to go hard that they actually pull it off.
Well, Loic has all the buttons, so he's having more compression normally out of the start, the first berms.
Oh, he's got controls on his bike.
Yeah, he's got 3 different buttons.
Oh, no shit.
For suspension compression, fork and shock, I think.
Yeah.
So he can make it real hard. So he normally does that when it's like smooth jumps and berms.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if he has to hit it to take it off, or it hits a big bump and then it goes off.
No way.
Yeah.
Do you think that's kind of... would you like to see more of that? Or do you think...
There will be more of that, but like... I don't really want to hit buttons during the race run.
No.
It's hard enough being in the right gear.
Well, yeah, like using like Formula 1 as the example, you see them, obviously they'll have an amazing car which makes good racing, but then the next year Formula 1 will say, oh, actually that's like too much of an advantage.
Yeah.
You've got to go like
back,
more back. Do you think that's like, do you think downhill should be more raw, or do you are you all about like the innovation?
I think it's cool to see the innovation because like how far can they go?
Yeah.
With a bicycle.
I like that as well. One of my world champs I actually enjoyed watching was Peter Maritzburg.
Oh yeah, when everyone's doing different tyres.
That was it. Yeah, it wasn't like a gnarly track, so everyone was like, how can we just make the bikes as fast as possible?
It was similar in Cairns.
Yeah.
Loic pulled out a semi-slick tyre only in the final, I think.
Yeah.
And then won the race.
Yeah, I like that.
And they kept it up his sleeve all week. So I don't know if they might have done a practice run on it, but like no one saw it.
Yeah.
And then he was the only one on a semi-slick.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, I've never actually run a semi-slick back-to-back with like a full knobbly on a downhill track. How much?
Well, it's gnarly if you've got a lot of braking, but then you've got to be able to manage it.
Yeah.
So he must have practiced at home with this tyre.
Yeah.
To know how to brake on it. And then pulled it out for the race and won the race. So
I reckon that is so sick.
Yeah.
That's actually I'm
like
so
there's
about...
not often any secrets.
Yeah.
Like now everyone has a million different lines, guys, and all of this. So you can't keep a line secret.
Yeah.
Like very rarely.
Yeah, I'm all about like those last minute things. Again, that was like Sam Hill would almost like you do like a line in the morning.
Yeah, and then never
do it until the race run. You'd be like, God damn.
Yeah, and then pull it out in the race, which is extremely hard to do as well.
Yeah, and I think that is like, again going to the story, like that's like makes a freaking cool story.
Yeah.
Of a downhill race.
100%.
I guess you could we'll try and wrap it up a bit because you got to get back to dad life.
Yeah.
And stuff, but just with the privateer project, how's that looking for next year? Is it going to stay kind of similar to what it is this year? Or have you got sort of
it'll be pretty
plans
similar. I think maybe we missed a couple of parts to build like 8 complete bikes, which is pretty hard to get. Like everything,
well, especially last year.
Yeah,
Jesus. Yeah.
So like asking for 8 parts for 8 complete bikes from every sponsor can be tricky.
Yeah,
but we're mostly sorted. So we'll probably run very similar.
We've got Jossie Fropper.
Yeah, he's probably going to keep riding GT. We're just trying to get him a frame now.
Yeah.
So we should have him on a new frame for the season, and then one of the other guys from last year will be on another frame, and then we've got Luke Wayman, which he was the Kiwi downhill champ.
Yeah.
Last year for junior, and then he's going to ride for me all season.
Yeah.
Under my program, so just working out the mechanic now. Everything you got to run myself now.
So have you got pit space outside of the GT, or do they come in?
Yeah,
with
working
you guys?
in with Rogue Racing, which is now a GT team.
Yeah.
And they're an Italian team, but pretty dialed, like a lot more than people realise. They like make their own suspension internals and everything.
Really?
Like they're pretty dialed.
Pretty
team.
like onto it. Like, pretty smart.
And then like David Palisari's had some top 10s last year, and it's pretty gnarly to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're on the GT now, and then I'll work with them. So that's cool. Then I can keep a pit space as well.
Yeah.
And then just run my program alongside theirs. And then I'll have Luke riding for me in junior, and then have a mechanic and a media guy.
Yeah. You must be looking at a few of the Kiwis coming up.
There's heaps
at the moment. It's insane when you look at that.
I spoke to Ollie Clark first, and then in the end I lined him up something with Zero, but it didn't work out, and then he's ended up on another team, so worked out pretty good for him. But then Luke did really well last year, so it's good to have someone that's already proven, you know.
Yeah, I've not looked at the results from the weekend, but did the elites manage to win?
Nah, Luke won.
He won again.
So
I don't know the last time an elite actually won a international.
Yeah, it's been a while now. Luke won overall, so yeah, it's pretty good.
It's crazy.
I think it was maybe they were the same second, but he was in front.
Yeah.
In front of Lockie, who's been on fire lately.
Yeah.
Lockie should be, for me, Lockie will be the best Kiwi elite this year by far. Like, and no injuries, he'll be the best Kiwi elite. Like,
I'll be looking at him and Toby Meek. I think Toby's been on a bit
Toby struggles a bit with consistency on certain tracks.
Yeah.
So some tracks he'll be on fire, and then next track maybe not. So
do you think that's a confidence thing?
Yeah, probably.
Lockie comes across as like a pretty confident dude.
It's like getting that at the World Cups is hard to do.
Yeah.
So if he can do that, well then that'd be great. If he can run the pace he runs in New Zealand at all the World Cups, then it'll be really good. But we'll see. I think Lockie, I've got picked for a good year just because he's been injured last year, so he's a bit of like fire, you know.
Yeah.
And the way he's been riding our nationals is pretty good.
Yeah. Because he's won. Did he win last weekend and now this weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And last weekend it rained more for the elites, so and he still was close. So he's pretty good. And the first one he won by miles, so he should be good.
No, it's good. It's pretty cool to see, and it's pretty funny that a lot of these riders aren't actually coming out of Queenstown as well.
Yeah.
Do you think there's like, not to say like Queenstown riders are soft, but do you think it's because Queenstown riders are softer compared to these North Island boys, or what? Well, Ollie Clark's from Christchurch, I guess.
Yeah, but I just got to work harder for it, I think.
Yeah.
In the North Island. So it doesn't come as easy, so you just have to go and do it yourself.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like comparing the UK riders.
Yeah.
They have to go and ride like some crappy hill and just repeat like 5 corners.
Yeah.
Then they get really good at cornering. Because
how is that for you, I guess, a big... Like, do you end up actually spending much time in England when you...
Yeah, I do when I'm there. So it's like, you work out why they're good, but it's also not the riding you'd want to do if you had a choice.
Dude, I grew up 15 minutes away from Danny Hart's park, so obviously before it was his. And I did actually get shuttles a few times, but I think the actual official shuttle I only paid for one weekend over like 7... Oh, well, since I started. I must have pushed up and down that hill.
Yeah, they do that a lot.
Thousands of times.
We'd never do that if you're here in Queenstown.
No.
Yeah.
But again, to what you're saying, it would be like a 10-second section.
Yeah,
and
but you get better at
20
that.
times.
Yeah.
And just do that everywhere.
And then you kind of perfect the technique.
Mm.
Yeah. So I think there is like pros and cons to everything. Like, you want to be here in Queenstown if you want to train for downhill. It's easier.
Yeah, I think it shows where...
Look, everyone's here.
Look at everyone coming. Yeah.
And there's more coming next week or the week after.
Yeah, I think Commensal team turns up pretty soon.
So it's like everyone wants to come.
Yeah. It's been nice to see it come back because this is kind of what it was like before.
Yeah.
Like pre-COVID, and now it's good to see
see
the teams coming back and getting into it. Mate, it's exciting for me.
No, it'll make for a good year of racing too. Lots of young Kiwis out there, so it's going to be exciting.
Yeah. It's be good.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll let you get away. And like I said, I really appreciate you sort of taking the time because
thanks very much.
Tomorrow as well,
out in the morning and then hopefully back soon enough.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you sneaking it in before you get out of here.
Yeah, thanks very much.